This morning, waking up to the news on the Daily Nation, you find that it's the main story is rapists roam free as DCI hunt Gen Z. And there's that report. They're saying that the investigators have been preoccupied with tracking down suspected planners of Gen Z protests that the government fears are set for later this month. You recall that 2 years ago, in the month of June, there were protests against the finance bill of 2024. And we witnessed chaotic scenes in different parts of the country, but also at Parliament, leading to the death of more than 60 people. There was the first anniversary of that, which was last year, and I think a similar number of people were killed, of course, with the different acknowledgements by the government. And then another story is about Kangata joins Linda Monanchi as opposition leaders condemn goons. And you see the image of Godfrey Osoti, Irungu Kangata, and James Orengo, one senator and two governors coming together to say that they will work together towards 2027. MPs lobby to enact compromise finance bill is another story that public pressure is piling on MPs to drop offensive proposals in the finance bill, as the National Assembly Finance and Planning Committee is expected to table a report on the proposed taxation measures in the House tomorrow for debate. And like I told you, Parliament has just about 2 weeks to consider and pass that bill. I don't know whether they will finish this week, but we'll wait and see what happens. After the tabling of the report, then the bill proceeds to the second reading stage, where there will be a debate. Thereafter, there will be a committee of the whole House to consider amendments to the bill, after which it will go to third reading and approval before it can be signed into law for the government to implement starting the 1st of July. On the front page of the Standard, the main story is ID cards auction, and you'll find the faces of Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, Julius Bitok, current PS for tourism, but formerly at immigration, formerly at education, previously at immigration. Then Billy Kipsang, the current PS immigration, and Evelyn Cheluget, Director General Immigration. And the story is that the Standard has an expose and has exposed a shadowy network through which foreign nationals from Somalia, Ethiopia, Uganda, and other neighboring countries are obtaining Kenyan identity documents for as low as 15,000 shillings. The probe reveals how individuals with questionable backgrounds have acquired the country's most sensitive document with apparent ease. Yet senior officials with the Department of Immigration and National Registration Bureau have remained silent, as has Interior Cabinet Secretary Mheshimiwa Koech. I know this is not within the purview of your committee, because your committee is on foreign relations, defense, and intelligence. But you could use some bit of the intelligence. What's going on? Because last year, President Ruto gave a directive that people that previously were being mistreated on application for national documentation would have it just like the rest of Kenyans. And if you recall at the Madaraka Day celebrations in Wajir 2 weeks ago, the president was very clear that the vetting will continue in as far as proving that you're a citizen, but not the adverse sort of vetting that was going on. How then such a claim would come?
Sam, I wish we were discussing information that has come from mainstream media, other than what we are reading here. This newspaper has decided to become a gutter press. And if you look at the pictures, and I'm happy that you want to mention, I really do not want to discuss the content. This is profiling. First of all, why will you have, for instance, Bitok, who is already the PS of tourism? Why will you have Madam Cheluget in this picture? Okay, before I even go to the allegations, because actually we even delve deeper into the allegations.
Yeah.
So Cheluget is Director of Immigration. There is a Director of National Registration Bureau, Mr. Mwangemi, Paul, who should be, in charge. The PS, that is actually the PS. And then there is a National Registration Bureau, who should be looking into the registration of national identity cards. Other than profiling the Kalenjin community, my community, this newspaper went further to profile the communities in the Somali community. Mm-hmm. That is exactly what this newspaper is doing, and it is horrible. And we must call out this newspaper and KTN for what they've been doing. Let me tell you, we went further to look into the IDs they claimed were illegally acquired. The IDs were issued in the year 2022. When Fred Matiang'i then was the CS. Uhuru Kenyatta was the president. The same opposition that is actually supposed to, and Gideon Moi was part of this administration. He was at that time in the Senate. Okay?
So surely, what is Gideon Moi doing?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
He doesn't write stories.
No, I'm just saying so that you understand the context.
Yeah.
So for me to discuss today what we have in the headline, I must call out the standard media that please practice professional journalism. This is gossip, this is profiling, this is horrible. This should not appear in what you will call a national newspaper. This can only be consumed by people who are probably of gossip and do not care about proper information.
Koech, I hear you, and I guess it's your right of reply. But let me also introduce a Provost Canon Evan Somolo, the Provost of the All Saints Cathedral. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam, and my fellow panelists.
You cut me, Sam. I'm just in the middle of a...
Just hold on. We have introduced Provost. You don't need to introduce him, surely.
No, are you running away from something?
I'm not running away from anything.
You asked me a question.
No, listen.
Sam, it is in the headline. It is in public domain.
And I'm still with you. I've not moved anywhere.
Allow me then to explain something.
I want to ask you a question because, yes, you have a right to feel the way you feel about...
Let me explain the process then, so that you understand.
Just hold on. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that, yes, you say that there's a person who was issued with an identity card in 2022, but the same person was issued with a Kenyan passport in April 2024. So just to show you that at that time there was an administration change.
Yeah, but if you have a Kenyan ID, what denies you the opportunity to get a passport? Why didn't they start with the person who issued the ID? Why will you come? Chelugate is presented, how to apply for a Kenyan passport is, first of all, you must confirm that you're a Kenyan. The only way to confirm that you're a Kenyan is to have a national ID.
There's no extra layer of vetting that goes on?
There is vetting that is done by the National Intelligence Service. But I'm sure the same vetting will have been done before issuance of the ID. That is what happened.
That's what I'm asking. If you're applying for a passport and you have an identity card, there's no extra vetting that you go to establish that actually what was done at the identity card level was authentic.
It should be done. I mean, it's a process. That is actually what I was trying to explain about the process. National Intelligence Service will be, at every stage of issuance of these very vital documents, be involved. But all I'm saying is that if the National Intelligence Service then in 2022 found it proper to issue an ID to this individual, what will deny the Director of National Immigration, what will she use to deny the same person an opportunity to own a passport? There is no reason whatsoever. And that is why I'm saying, if the lazy journalists will have even just scratched beneath the surface, they will have realized that the information they are giving directly implicates their master.
Unfortunately, the journalist is not here, but I just want us to focus on the issues raised, because this is about credibility of a nation and the document issuing system. I don't know, Mheshimiwa Ngogoyo, if you have thoughts about this, because instead of it becoming a blame game, who is right, who is wrong, or who is sensational, who is not, what should it be telling us about the safety and the security of our documentation?
Sam, what is happening, if our Kenyan passport has not been degraded, soon it will be degraded. Why? There are so many leakages that have come into the system of issuing the passport and even the Kenyan ID card. What has contributed the most, number one, is the eradicating or the removal of vetting, which was there. I come from a border county, Kajiado. Kajiado, we have always had vetting since time immemorial. Why was vetting there? People would come all the way from Arusha, come to Kenya, pretend to be Kenyans, get their IDs, participate in elections, participate in Kenyan activities while they are not Kenyans. That was dangerous. The issue of Nyumba Kumi was something very major in Kajiado before, while getting your ID. We have, for instance, I got my ID in Ngong. That is because that's the closest that it is from Kiserian. I went through vetting personally, not because I'm from which community.
So tell me, what does that vetting entail?
That vetting entails, number one, there must be a village elder who identifies you. Number two, you must come up with a letter from your assistant chief, which you must go physically to him to get a letter so that the chief can say you come from this area or this area.
Yeah.
When you go to the vetting meeting, because they usually have vettings, it was once in a month, I think on Mondays, you'd present yourself there and probably that elder from that area will say, I know this boy, I know the father, I know the mother.
So it's a proper sitting?
Yes, and let me tell you, in Kajiado you'd get a lot of Rwandans, you'll get Congolese who are coming to infiltrate our registration centers. It was dangerous.
Yeah.
One of the things that, and even when you talk to the people in the administration, they never understand up to date, is why that was removed. And let me tell you, it is...
So currently it's removed, what's happening?
You just go and you're issued with your... There is no vetting, there is no application or something. It is now for the chiefs to either, because there's a letter they must provide you with, if they decide not to give you, they'll not give you. The vetting that was there, including, for instance, there are Somalis born and raised in Kajiado.
Yes.
They would have their representative there to be able to identify families, for instance, if they come from their Somali community.
Wengi watafunja radio zao, wengine watafunja television, they will not believe. They will not believe.